Hi there, very good morning. Welcome to our preview on Clocking the Gallop of racing today on this Tuesday. It's the 17th of January, and we're out at the Vaal Classic track. A very bang-in form. Lyall Cooper joins me after a good day yesterday afternoon at Turffontein. We've got lots of meetings in Gauteng this week. So, it pays to be in good form because it's rolling on. Well done yesterday.
Yeah, it was a good day, Nico. Besides our banker standing in the stalls, the rest of the day was very good.
Absolutely brilliant. Yes, total protection. And by the way, I sent a note out to everyone today. Some companies, and all credit to them, I don't think many companies can do this, but Betway, the crowd from Betway sent me a note last night for my attention saying to me, Nico, are you aware that Betway refunded everyone if they took a straight bet on total protection? They, however, did not refund any multiples, obviously, that included total protection. So if you took a straight bet on total protection, you got your money back. But you were saying to me just before we started recording that you spoke to Andrew Fortune, part of the Ashley Fortune outfit, and they were perplexed and dumbfounded as to how this horse just stood in the gates. And I watched it. I watched it yesterday, and I saw it stand. And it just didn't take any interest. It's never done that.
Yeah, Brian said he was also dumbfounded, and Andrew Fortune was actually in shock after the race. He said he cannot believe the horse stood. It's never done it. It's been a bit slow out the gates, but that was completely new for them. They were quite shocked.
Yeah. Anyway, so we live to fight another day. These things happen in racing, and of course the forums and everyone's going moggy, I suppose. We don't watch a lot of these forums. A lot of it's rubbish, but we plug away at on our own platform, speaking a lot of sense without any conspiracy theories and rubbish that comes and spewed out all over the place. But let's carry on with today's racing. I've got the betting, but just before I do that, I'm just advising everyone that we are live with our Clocking the Gallop direct line. It starts next Friday, the 27th of January, and there's a separate video that I did last night on it. We'll remind you of that again throughout the course of this week, leading into next week, which is Met Week as well. So if you want to join up, 250 Rand gets you our selections for next weekend's Met Weekend. Right, let's go to the betting for the first race today, Lyall. It's a juvenile plate over 1,000 meters. Interestingly enough, Lyall, in a juvenile plate, because it's not a maiden juvenile plate, but in a juvenile plate, you would have expected some horses to have won before. But such is the paucity of juvenile races in this country that needs urgent attention as to how we structure these juvenile races, because at the moment, I don't think it's working. This race is programmed for winners that have won a juvenile, and not one winner comes in. In fact, most of the field have either, in fact, they've only had one run or have never run before. So it's hard to detect. But look at all the support for Sean Terry's Daughter of Silvano, American Graffiti. Now, I have to point out at the start of the day that Sianda Sasibo rode King of Venus in the last race yesterday to victory. So he now has ridden his 20th winner. So from today, only claims 2.5 kilos. Does that make a big difference in the sense that this horse is now carrying 1.5 kilos more than if Sasibo was to claim 4?
No, I'm not worried about that, Nico. Just to chat about the actual races today, I'm not as confident as I was yesterday. I thought there's some tricky races here. So I'm glad you're with me, because I'd like to have your thoughts on it. As far as this first race is concerned, American Graffiti, I mean, Silvanos generally don't win on debut, particularly over 1,000, but the mare did win over 1,000 meters. And I think that's very much in her favor. And of course, the fact that she's coming for money and she's got 55 kilograms is very much in her favor. But there are the two horses that have experience, Godspeed and Explicit Content. And Godspeed is 2.5 kilograms better off with the 4 Explicit Content. So between those two, I didn't think there was too much. I did notice that this number 3 Lincoln Navigator, the gelding, the mare won 4 times over the sprint. So I also have a respect for that one. And then interesting comments from Corne Space. Number 1, Circle of Grace. I quote, nice gelding in the baby races, might need, but good work, and should be in the finish. This is the brother of Raffles. So he said should be in the finish. So, you know, these 2-year-old races, I'm actually quite scared of this first race now, Nico.
Yeah. Well, look, all the money, you have to be where the money is. The Terry stable have really hit their straps. They're bouncing along nicely. They're getting their winners, another couple of winners yesterday. It was really good to see. Just going back to American Graffiti, she is a daughter of Silvano, as you mentioned, but the full sister was a horse called Arissa. Now, she raced back in 2015, I think it was, and she won at 2 and at 3 over 1,000 and 1,100 meters, and she was placed 8 times as well. I've got the notes here. She was placed in sprinting races, and in fact, as a 2-year-old, ran 3rd in the South African Fillies Nursery. So the full sister by Silvano was precocious. So we're going on the fact that history repeats itself here. I would definitely be in the camp of American Graffiti, certainly even before the betting changes came through on pedigree alone. I'll be surprised if it gets beat, but as you quite rightly say, it doesn't look easy, and you'll be at the track at the Vaal a bit later on, maybe to take us through some more comments from Connection.
Yes, Nico, I have a feeling I might just change 1 or 2 of my selections today. Once I see them, once I hear about them, because it's difficult, I think.
Okay, let's go to race 2, which is the start of today's place accumulator. We've done a place accumulator today, courtesy of Lyall Cooper. I've adjusted it slightly, Lyall, for our PA today, but we were in the money.
I'm glad.
Jackpot. So let's have a look at race 2. There are no changes in the second. It is another juvenile plate, this time for fillies, and again, no winners appear here in the market or in the race. Let's have a look at it. The money is for Ice Star, who's another newcomer. The money hasn't stopped for this one. Opened up 33 to 10, is half those odds now, 15 to 10. A daughter of William Longshaw. That's where all the money is. And after that, Divine Moonlight, who turned in a very good debut, is the second favorite at 2 to 1. Again, we haven't heard anything. Have you heard anything about Ice Star?
I haven't heard one word about Ice Star. That's a lot of money coming there. That's interesting, Nico. Right into 15 to 10, was 7 to 1 2 days ago.
Yes.
So a lot of money. The mayor was with Mike the Cock.
Yeah, the actual comment in the computer form from Fabian, working well, place chance is the official comment, but those were done quite some time back.
Of course. Mike de Kock, the mare was with Mike de Kock, Zora, and she won 3 times from 1,200 up to 1,600 meters. So Ice Star, obviously a runner. But again, the 2, Divine Moonlight, nothing wrong with that debut. White Tongue Mowing had a winner yesterday.
That's
I think Henny Cralen's he's probably been working this horse. The mare did have speed as well. And on that first run, the Storts of Quarry does hold all of numbers 5, 3, 5, and 6. So I think number 2 is a big runner. There could be improvement from number 6, White Hills. Nicely bred, of course, but the mare did run over 1,800. So it still might be a bit sharp. Obviously, the 4 I have respect for. And then I wanted to know what you thought about number 7, the Sean Terry Kelvin Abib combination again here. 7 to 2. I see it's gone from 5 to 2 out to 7 to 2.
Yeah, a little bit of a drift there. I thought it needs further. My feeling on it was that it needed further, but the full sister's a horse, the full brother rather, is a horse called Aggressivo who runs down in Durban. I don't know if you know Aggressivo or Aggressive.
I know the name.
It's down in Durban, owned by Hollywood, and it's won over 1,400 meters. But it didn't win at 2. It only won at 3. So I'm thinking you might need a bit, but you know, it does come. The mare Amatori was a full sister to Pacific Trader, who was a very good sprinter from the Crawford stable. So again, I think it might need further, or might need a run or 2. But watch the market support for that. I was firmly in the camp of Divine Moonlight here after that run, because this is the family of La Volta, who's the mother of Master Archie. And also the family of Mardi Gras, who are very, very quick. So I thought Divine Moonlight held the key to this race. I respect support for the first time as both Ice Star and
of course.
And as you say, White Hills could well improve. I think that she's capable of a bit better than her last run, but I didn't really like her on debut. I thought she needs further, like you said, in the pedigree.
She does.
Okay, on to the third week.
Not easy.
The start of the pick 6, a graduation plate for fillies and mares over 1,600 meters. You can scratch number 5. Queso Azul is out. So only 5 runners go to post here. I don't know why that betting didn't update, but there it is. And Ororari Gold is all the rage. Opened up 5 to 2, is odds on at 9 to 10 now. So 9 to 10 Ororari Gold, 3 Tulip Tree, 3 to 1. Then 4, Give Me a Light, attracting some support into 4 to 1, and 9 to 2, Tipsy Tarragon. We bankered Ororari Gold in the PA. Would it be a banker for you in the pick six?
Well, look, I finally coming to a ratio that I quite like the way that they're betting and weighted. In that big race yesterday, I tipped them the way they were weighted and they ran the way they were weighted. So again, Ferrari Gold from Tipsy Tarragon, Tulip Tree, and then Gimme a Light. Exactly as they weighted, I think is the way they should run. And Ferrari Gold, I am quite strong in it because in a card where there weren't too many standout bankers here, this could be a banker. This is a horse that's got Miss Daisy, Time for Orchids, Miss Cool, none other, Feather Boa behind on her best form, so she can run.
Yeah, on her last two runs, if you look at her last two runs, she's been drawn very badly. Her last run, she was the widest of all. She probably couldn't get in, and she over raced. The previous run, she was drawn 12 out of 13, so she hasn't been blessed with the best of draws. But when you go back to that Canadian summer run in the Grade 1 Taquini Stakes run in Durban at the end of the season,
the run.
That's the run that stands out more than anything else. Under 2 lengths behind Canadian Summer, who again won the feature race, won the Flamboyant Stakes in Durban a couple of weeks ago. So it does look like the right one. The interesting horse for me is this horse Tipsy Tarragon, who's now joined Anthony Peter from Justin Snaith. I thought that was interesting because he's run in some top races the last 2.
Yeah, Group 3, Grade 2, Grade 1, much stronger than this race here. I do make this my second selection. Anthony Peter, he's obviously got some decent horses in his stable. And to me, this is the biggest danger to number 1, Ferrari Gold. Tulip Tree, by the way, they met as maidens. And Ferrari Gold did beat Tulip Tree quite comfortably by 4 lengths, and they're at the same weights. So I'd imagine they would stay the same. So 1 from 2. And then, I thought maybe number 6 would be there and thereabouts. But the more I go into this race, I think Ferrari Gold's the right one, Nico. This could be a banker for us.
Yeah, okay. So that is the favourite there, Ferrari Gold, shorten the betting 9 to 10. As you know, we're not very big on odds-on shots on this particular channel. We believe that they do win, but on the swings and the roundabouts, I think we'll be doing the roundabouts quite a bit if you carry on backing odds-ons. I don't know whether it'll end up favourable for you. It might end up in tears. Anyway, they do win. The point is that if one wins and the next one loses, you're still a loser. That's the point. When you back odds-ons, you need to back. A lot more need to win. Anyway, let's move on to race 4. It's a maiden plate over 1,500 meters. Scratch number 7, Mo the Man, and number 8, Dame Colleen. Alamites in front, Unshot behind. I had a fairly strong opinion in this race, and I wanted to know what you thought, Lyall.
Well, I'm glad you got a strong opinion because I had a strong opinion in the last race, not as strong here. I like a bit of number 2 here, Silvano's Song, with Cabello Matagnani aboard for Stewie Pettigrew. I think we'll love the 1,500 meters here this afternoon. And I thought a player, the 9 Powers That Be, Caden Brewer for Alex Laird. Better last 2 efforts. The 2 best runs were here at the track. And I think there could be some improvement to come from the 9. The 1, obviously a runner on those last 2 efforts. And then number 3, Raptor Island. I think also could be some value, just leaning in to see the price, 11 to 2. And then there'll be improvement from Jet Dynasty, but even a horse like number 12. But for me, it's a tough little race because I'm glad you're quite confident. I like 2, 9, and then number 1.
Yeah, no, so the 1 was my horse, only because I think he needs further. Well, he needed further. Now, it's not much further than his last 2, but I'm not deterred by the draw. I think a lot of this field, excuse the French, are very poor racehorses. Yeah. I don't think many of them are going to win a race. And I think that only a few of these, maybe less than half, will win a race and will win it well. I wasn't deterred by the draw. 1,500.
I was, so I'm glad you won.
So that's what I was thinking. I was thinking tucked in and held up more for a run instead of. I think it's got a short run in this horse. DeMello's ridden it a couple of times. I just believe it's the right trip for it. So I'm quite big on Quixote here. I made that the horse to be an interesting horse, as you said, was Raptor Island because it's changed stables. But it's done most of its racing on the poly track and comes back to the turf today. So that I'll be keeping an eye on. And you mentioned Powers That Be, the filly. There's obviously quite a few fillies here. They get the weight allowance of 3 kilograms, which will definitely help Powers That Be, who I think is the best of the fillies, as you mentioned there.
Yep, absolutely. I think she's
Okay,
got a chance. Nice price.
let's move on to race number 5 now, which is a fillies and mares 78 handicap, and it is again over the 1,500-meter trip. They don't have to move the stalls here in race 5. In race 5, number 6, Field of Vision, a sheepskin noseband on. I've never seen them actually
Yes,
be declaring that, so I was quite surprised
I'll ask that.
what that was all about, because there's always sheepskin nosebands on, so I don't know why it would mean a declaration for that, but maybe I'm missing something. Anyway, let's go to the betting here. It's 7-2 Light of Day and October Fair, 7-2, 11-2 Cherangorma, 7-1 Welcome Breeze, Just Be Nice, and then 8-1 Dancing Arabian and Toto's Dream. I found this particularly open, and I went with you and your numbers here, but it is quite wide open, this one.
Yeah, wide open. I mean, my first selection is Toto's Dream at 8-1 for the Aussie team, JP van der Merwe. Blinker Strike, 52.5 kilograms, and JP on. I don't mind all of these factors here. I think Toto's Dream could be a bit of a runner here. Same about number 7, Just Be Nice. Malaseda Kajedi, now 51 kilograms. On those last 3 runs, that could be quite decisive in this sort of race, this competitive race. And then I really am taking on the favourite. I also like to put number 2, Cherangorma, who ran a good third last time out. Jeff Seister had a win yesterday. Is coming back from a 60-day rest, but dropping in merit rating and dropping in class. So that could be a player too. And then, of course, the obvious ones, 3 and 4. But I was looking for the value here, 8 and 7, Nico.
Yeah, I saw that you went for Toto's Dream. You see the equipment change there. As you mentioned, blinkers go on. The horse that you mentioned as well there, Just Be Nice. That tickled my fancy a little bit because of the 51 kilos and the fact that it ran behind Trident King, who was a good winner yesterday afternoon. So it followed up another win yesterday. So this certainly enters the equation too, Just Be Nice. I thought it was trappy. Those maiden winners, October Fair and Welcome Breeze, I think fall into the same category. I'm not sure that there's that much difference between them. One is double the price of the other. One is 7-2, 7-1. Welcome Breeze was heavily backed, as you know, in its second run. Didn't win. I think we liked Bee in My Bonnet that day quite strongly when it won. And it won the next time out. So I'm expecting this horse to continue to improve. I quite liked it as an individual when I saw it at the track, actually, Welcome Breeze. So I think she's got more in the tank. So I found this trappy. It's leaning towards putting in a lot more than we've mentioned in the previous. I would say go as wide as possible in race number 5. Race 6 is another fillies and mares handicap, but they're stepping it up to 1,800 meters in the 6th race. No changes here in race number 6 as we move on to the betting. Lyall, I didn't look at this as closely as you would have. What did you think of the form here?
Sure, I wrote you, wow, tough race, a very tough race. I didn't look at this. Is the first time I'm seeing the betting for this race, Nico. I went with number 1, Little Mary Sunshine, Mike de Kock and Reynolds Simons. I liked that run last time out. Emil Princess has come through to win. The negative, of course, is the 60.5 kilograms. Positive would be the draw of 1, but does have ability if you look at 1 or 2 of those earlier runs. Then the 7, LMB. Let me see the price there, 33-20. I like the way that horse won. I know it was a work riders, but the mare was talented, was with Sean Terry. I think there's more to come here. 54.5 kilograms. Then number 2, Lady Regent at 5-1. Keegan DeMello for Candace Dawson, 1,800 again. And I thought, it could be a play here because 1-for-1 over course and distance. Rarotonga Rose has won again from that last form line. And then also like number 3, Tinder Dry as well. So quite honestly, Nico, trappy, difficult race. Who's the actual favourite? Would that be LMB?
The favourite would be LMB. The favourite's LMB at 16.5 to 10. Our friends at LMB bookmakers, Lance Michael bookmakers, obviously own this horse, and they'll be cheering it on. It won a good maiden, but to come up and win again is tough, even though she does get the weight advantage.
He did do it yesterday, Sean Terry. So even though it's an open race, 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, the winner will come from those 5.
Okay, so there we go. That's the assessment of race number 6, and not another easy race to call, but a couple come into it there, as you heard from Lyall, race number 6. On we move to the 7th, which is a novice handicap, 1,200 meters. A couple of changes here. Number 5, What You're Waiting For, is fitted with a tongue tie for the first time, and blinkers go on. Number 7, who's had a lengthy rest of a year, Storm Dictator. So blinkers are on that, and it's been gelded after its last run back in January of 2022. Well, all the money here is for David Nevenhuizen's runner. I'll leave you to pronounce it. The volcano in Iceland, I think it is.
Oh, yes.
They've put this from 10 to 1 into 4 to 1. The money hasn't stopped for this. So obviously the word's out for this one today. And the Nevenhuizen stable has hit their straps now.
Well, I'm so glad because it's a lovely horse, and I know they've rated it quite highly. I won't be jumping onto the 4 to 1. I thought it's another one of those races. Like I said, race 1, Nico, oh dear, this card, yesterday you and I were confident. We got quite a few of the winners. This card's more difficult. I'm actually going towards number 6, Permesso Avanti. Permesso Avanti. The daughter giving the green light. Yeah. Pace Majan, Johan Jens van Vuren. I like the price. This is an open race. That second last time was a good run. It was against Stronger. Chase was aboard. 54.5 kilograms. Merit rating in a good spot, and has run once over course and distance for a good second. So first selection for me in a tough race, number 6. Number 4, Windwater. I do have respect for this horse. That was a very nice win last time. Keegan's obviously aboard for Johan. Merit rating coming in 85 for the handicap debut, and drawn 1. Could be a big player again. And then number 2, Time to Shine. I like that last run behind Feather Boa. And a lot stronger, obviously, Nico. So I wouldn't cut this off. It is back from 166-day rest, though. And from that run, you've got Meridius and Feather Boa that have won. And then number 1, which is Ipso Facto, who has got Captain Peg behind on the maiden win. So not the worst form in the world either. It's just one of those. I could go even further, Nico, but let me stop. I think 6, 4, 2. And I'm glad there's money for IF Yakatul. I'd love to see it run well.
Yeah, it's overdue for a good run. It won back in July of last year, but then it was rested. We know that stable were not in good form. And even its last run, if you look at that last run, 5 lengths back, it was steadied. Not everything went all its own way. I think 10 to 1 was a decent price on it, but it's now 4 to 1, which is looking a bit skinny at the moment. I don't know whether
it's skinny
to shorten. I don't think so. But another trappy contest, race 7. But you're going for Permesso Avanti, are you? With chances to Time to Shine and Windwater, as you said.
Trappy, Nico. Very trappy.
Okay, the 8th and last is off at 25 past 4. It's a merit rated 72 handicap. It runs over 1,450 meters. And in the 8th race, you can scratch number 6, Rattle Bag, who's had insufficient recovery time after its last run. So that's a non-runner. Number 4, Pinch It, as we well know, won the last race on Thursday. The merit rating adjusted upwards to 82. The weight has gone up to 60 kilos. So Pinch It has gone up in the weights in this race. And it's one of the fancied runners here, 28 to 10. Save the Queen, number 7's at 7 to 2. There's been a bit of money for After Hours and for Fog Bank as well. Your thoughts here in the last?
Sure, Nico. You know, our job is to get winners for the punters, but to just stay on this card, there's not many races I'm confident in, and this is another one. The Pinch It is my first selection, although going up to 60 kilograms. It was a good win on Thursday. The 1450, slight question mark about that, but he's in such good form at the moment. Save the Queen could be anything. That was a good run. The runner-up has come through and won, and that was a course and distance win. Number 2, Fog Bank. I'm expecting a good run from Fog Bank. That first run still keeps on catching my eye when running behind East Coast. That really was a very good run indeed. And then number 8, After Hours. You said there's a bit of money coming for this one. St. John had a first and a third yesterday in one race. So with Keegan running, Keegan riding could be in fact, Keegan rode one of St. John's horses to second, I think, in the last race yesterday.
Now, he's ridden this before. If you look back on the 17th of November, he rode it over the course and distance and won on it. And it was favourite that day. So I'm expecting...
Has to be a player.
If I had a horse here, I'd probably go for After Hours as my each way selection, 5, 6 to 1.
And I must just tell you, Nico, Iron Tail, Cornet is saying is well and expecting a good run. Just ignore the last one.
Yeah, that
so even though this is it's a difficult card, but I think we can narrow each race down to 3 or 4. I just didn't find many bankers. That's the issue with me for today.
Yeah, it doesn't look, as you say, we were more confident about yesterday's card. You'll be working out there today, and I'm sure we'll chat to you later on the week. You're excited, though, for our Clocking the Gallop direct line, just to end off on this note.
Absolutely.
We are very excited about that. We have people already coming on board, and that starts next Friday. We will, of course, keep on reminding you during the course of the week. Lyall, take care today. All the best at the Vaal. We'll speak to you soon again, but have a good day's racing.
Thank you, Nico. If the people could just listen to me when I'm there, because sometimes I do hear information from the trainers firsthand, and then I can maybe narrow it down for them.
Yeah, it's always interesting to watch racing at the track because, as you say, people sometimes volunteer the information. Other times you've got to go and look for it. But the ones that do volunteer the information are pretty much spot on. I'd speak about Laird, actually, who spoke to Andrew Bonn in the interview package, which I watched ahead of yesterday's racing, and he was pretty spot on with his assessment of the horses yesterday. So he was. It's always good to listen to those.
In our interview with Alec as well, I asked him about his runner in the big race there, and he agreed with me that at the weight she should be there in the places.
Yes. Yeah,
she was. Yeah, she was right there with two top-class horses. He was open and honest. Yeah.
Okay, Lyall, thanks very much for your time, and go well. We'll speak to you again soon. Take it easy.
Thank you, Nico.